of height, for example, and weight on uneven bars. The same is true on vaulting. It needs a lot of weight in order to get that board down. And it's really hard to get a lot of lift off that board if you don't weigh very much.
All right, if you don't push it down, it doesn't send you back up. And for that vault, she received a 9.55. That's her half of the combined score of 19.05. His half is 9.50. So the 9.5 and the 9.55 add up to 19.05. We'll be back with more mixed pairs after this. Mixed pairs. Round one has concluded, and while they tally the scores to determine the 8 teams to move back into round two, we thought you'd like to meet Brandy Johnson, who has quietly been surprising the gymnastics world since she broke onto the scene 8 years ago. Frequently in the shadows of Phoebe Mills, it's time we introduced you to America's premier female gymnast. The 1989 American Cup was a first-place triumph in the all-around event for Brandy Johnson. Along the way, she picked up gold medals on the uneven parallel bars and in the floor exercise event. Not one to bask in the glory of achievements, this 15-year-old Floridian headed right back to the gym in preparation for this mixed pairs event and other international meets of 1989. Johnson trains at Altamont Springs. Her coach is Kevin Brown. This unassuming powerhouse posted the best American finish at the 1988 Olympics with her 10th place in the all-around, an experience that she and her mom relive with fondness.
I was ready to get back home after a while there.
4 years we talked about it, but gosh, you know, just being there, it was really like a dream.
That plane trip was too long.
Too long? Oh, we enjoyed our trip. Of course, you know, Daddy had his birthday, and we had a party, so it was fun. We had the Taekwondo exhibition team. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, the boxing team was fun because we got them to color. We had coloring books. They colored with us.
Oh, fun.
It was fun.
Brandy is trying to keep her international life in balance with life as a typical American teenager. She is in the 10th grade. Studies are a combination of classes, correspondence, and tutors. And in typical teenager fashion, the telephone plays a big part in her happiness.
Hello. Hi. Fine. I just got back from a meet. The American Cup. Yeah. I got first. Thanks. What have you been up to? My friends call a lot, and we do things on the weekends sometimes, but most of my friends are usually from the gym, so we're all pretty close. And I have one of my friends that comes up and visits me from Fort Myers a lot. I like dancing music. I like to go to a dance club we have here in town. It's called Park Avenue. I like to dance a lot.
After 4.5 years with Coach Brown, Brandy trained just before the 1980 Olympics with Bella Caroli in Houston. Hope, sickness, and loyalty brought her back after just 4 months.
Mr. Brown and I work really well together. He's an excellent coach. He knows exactly how to motivate me, and we work really well together, so we can go really far, I think. I was very glad to be back with Mr. Brown. We work so well together, and we set our goals, and we reach most of them together.
And it is a very difficult thing to do, to choose coaches, to go back to an original coach and not step on egos. And Brandy Johnson has managed to do just that. She's very happy. We'll be back with more in a moment.
And we now have scores being posted.
Finished up in a tie for 6th place and as such become the 3rd team comprised of 2 Americans to advance to the 2nd round. Since the rule states that only 2 USA pairs may advance, Brandy and Lance unfortunately have been eliminated but did finish technically in the top 6. Let's take a look at the USA tandem that will replace them. First, on the women's side, it is Shelley Stack.
Shelley had a great vault. She got a 9.8 for another round-off entry, layout Sukahara with a full twist. She took a little step at the end, but it was nice and crisp. Gets good lift off the board and into a very crisp twist. Sees the ground nice and early, takes a little step.
She is teamed with Wes Suter, who's on the floor.
Wes was an 88 Olympian and was a former NCAA all-around champion. Floor exercise is one of his best events. He started out on floor, got a good score, dismounting here with a double back flip. Takes a little step at the end. but it was a very fine performance, and that launched him into the next round.
And that gave them a combined score of 19.4, which actually tied them with Phoebe Mills and Pat Kirksey for third place. Now, one of the other standout performances, and you'll see him in the final round, but you won't see this routine. That's why we're recording it for you now. Look at the P-bar set by Li Jing.
Now, this is Li Jing of China, similar to the name Li Ning, but a different gymnast. Incredible skill, a 1.5 forward somersault, catching on the back side of his arms on the bars. You could see the look on his face when he hit those bars.
And that stellar performance by Li Jing helped set up these results. His team, he's paired with Wendy Bruce, finished in second behind the Soviet Union, followed by a tie by the USA's Phoebe Mills, Patrick Kirksey, Shelley Stack, and Wes Suter for third place. The second panel shows the USA and Puerto Rico tandem of Bangerter and Tort finishing fifth. Brandy Johnson and Lance Ringwald are eliminated by virtue of the 2 USA rule, followed by Anodi, Horvath, Mermet, and Kauterman. Now, these are the teams that will advance. Rounding out the rest of the first round, it is Canada, Romania, and Cuba. We will be back with the second round, but first we have these messages. Stay with us here in Jacksonville, Florida, where the McDonald's International Mixed Pairs continues. The McDonald's International Mixed Pairs is truly mixed in our next tandem. In some cases where representation from a country could not allow 2 athletes to compete, I guess you could say marriages were made by the United States Gymnastics Federation. We have an international tandem of Wendy Bruce from the United States. She is teamed with Li Jing from China. And anytime you have truly a mixed combination, they are from neither country, which is why you will see more USA athletes. They are not deemed USA athletes when they are teamed with a partner from another country. So Wendy Bruce will compete now on the uneven parallel bars.
Wendy is a teammate of Brandy Johnson's at Alamont Springs at Brown's Gymnastics. There's a beautiful high reverse hack. She's got a lot of power on her giants. There's a Jaeger, a front salto, down to the low bar. Shoot through, back up to the high bar. Do some last series of swings before her dismount. There's a giant. A lot of power in that giant. Very high double back. Good routine.
Now in the first round, she vaulted and got a 9.725. This round, obviously, she opted for the uneven parallel bars. And talk about putting the pressure on yourself. In the third round, she's opted for the balance beam. Not only do you have to hit a tough event, but when the money counts.
Must be your best event.
Again, she is paired with Li Jing. He is from the People's Republic of China. In the first round, you saw him on the parallel bars doing those saltos between the bars. In this round, he has opted to execute the vault. Now, the men were restricted to vaulting only in the second round, and that was for equipment purposes. So anybody who opts to vault must do so in this rotation.
And this is an unusual vault. We've been talking for so many years about the women doing the round-off entry vault. Li Jing is one of the first men I have ever seen even try the round-off entry vault. It's much more difficult because the horse is lengthwise. Here it is. Round-off on, layout, full twist, beautiful vault. Excellent. It's much more difficult than in women's gymnastics because you have to place your hands on a very, very narrow piece of horse.
But then to play devil's advocate, he's got the spring coming off the top because of that muscle mass and power, so it's a little bit easier in men's gymnastics.
It is, no question. I'll tell you what, I'm never going to do it.
Okay.
But Alexander Tikhonkin of the Soviet Union tried it once and really had a bad crash, and so they were concerned about men doing this vault. But you can see he did extremely well, a lot of height, and he's so powerful.
You're right, there is an inherent danger doing this vault because it is lengthwise. Now let's go back over to the high bar and take another look at Wendy Bruce, Li Jing's partner.
Beautiful front flip. Kips up to a handstand, pirouette over the low bar. Now here's her dismount. She's got a very nice tap on the bottom of her giant swing. Very, very good.
9.65.
And the score for Wendy Bruce was 9.625 on uneven parallel bars. Li Jing received for his vault a 9.65. Their combined total is 19.325 for that rotation, giving them an overall total of 38.75, and that puts them out in front.
And boy, if they keep this going the way they are, they could be the first mixed pairs to win this event.
All right, we're going to continue with our coverage of the mixed pairs. You are looking now at Shelley Stack, a 1988 Olympian. She is teamed with Wes Suter, and she too is about to compete on the uneven parallel bars. Shelley Stack from Birmingham, Alabama. Shelley is also coached by Bella Caroli.
Shelley's a very quick gymnast. There's a reverse hecht. Glide kip over the low bar. A fairly standard transition back up to the high bar. Full twisting giant over the top. Another giant. And a double back. Perfect landing.
Shelley Stack, 15 years old, born in Endicott, New York, now lives in Houston, Texas, training with Bella Caroli.
Should have been 38.70, not 37.70.
Looking at Wes Suter. He was on floor exercise in the first round, and in this round, he's on the parallel bars. He too is a tall gymnast, 5 feet 10 inches tall. But height isn't that much of a factor on the P-bars as it is on the still rings.
Actually, parallel bars can help the taller gymnast. A former Nebraska gymnast, Phil Cahoy, was just excellent on parallel bars. Nice fluid swing. Beautiful Diamidov. There's a front uprise. Here's a Healy twirl. Right away into a front toss, straddle cut L.
Wendy Bruce and Lee Jing's total was 38.70. That puts them into first place as you watch Wes Suter.
There's a Stutz and a double back. Nice little hop, good dismount, little hop. It's a nice routine altogether.
Last year, Wes Suter was voted 1988 Athlete of the Year by his teammates, and he was also a winner of the coveted Nissen Award. And of course,
now this is that Healy twirl. Very, very difficult blind move. You just don't know where your hand is till it hits the bar. Right into a front toss, a front flip between the bars into a straddle cut right to an L. Now here's his dismount. It's a double tuck, fairly standard parallel bar dismount. Good landing, takes a little hop, but he had control over it. It'll be just a small deduction, probably about 1/10 of a point.
Let's take another look at Shelley Stack, his partner on the uneven parallel bars.
And here's Shelley's dismount, a very high double back, and she zeroes in on that landing.
And zeroes in on a 9.75, her individual score. Again, that's only 1/4 of their total. His score is another 1/4, and the 2 scores they received in the first round is the first half of their score. Everything carries over. Right now, the score they would like to beat is a combined total of 38.70, which is what Wendy Bruce and Lee Jing have after 2 rounds. Stella Ume and Lauren Bobkin at 37.55 are currently in second, followed by Anodi and Horvat of Hungary with 38.075. So we've received Shelley Stack's score of 9.75. Wes Suter received a 9.50. In a moment, we'll have on the screen for you the totals. And again, only 3 will advance. There's a total, 38.65. That puts them in second place after 4 pairs, but we still have 4 to go. Stay with us. Pair from the Soviet Union, the top qualifiers into this final round. They had a lead by approximately .075. It will be combined with what their scores are for this second round. You're looking at Olesya Dudnik. Her second event is the floor exercise, while her partner Marinich will compete on the pommel horse. Now at the Korea Friendship Competition, she finished first in floor exercise.
She mounts with a beautiful full twisting double backflip. The Soviet women are real masters at blending the appropriate amount of dance and tumbling, and they dance so well.
I think it's personified by just watching their toe point and extension. Every time her leg is in the air, it is pointed.
Incredible tumbling pass.
Back up
1.5 twist into a double full punch front. The one thing about the Soviet gymnasts is they just are so well-rounded. You really can't find weaknesses. With many of the other athletes, you can say, well, gee, they're really powerful in one part, but they've got a little weakness here. You just can't pinpoint a weakness in the Soviet gymnasts.
Yeah, look at that leg extension.
The crowd is applauding. Final tumbling pass, a round off back handspring. Triple twist at the end of a routine. Very difficult.